Hi, and welcome to English for You. I'm Seb.
I'm Tiffany.
And we are still talking about our most exciting subject we've ever talked about in this magazine. Scotch tape.
I love it. It's my favorite.
Hold your breath. Yeah, don't get too excited. So Scotch tape was a very important invention. It actually changed the way that we did a lot of things around the house. We're going to be talking about that more today. But first, what are some other inventions that really changed the way we do chores and housework? What inventions have changed our lives?
I know in the 1950s, there was like a huge kind of like surge in invention of household appliances, like, you know, I think toasters or something, or refrigerators, those kinds of things.
Actually, refrigerators were very important because not only do they keep things nice and cold, they also stop us from getting sick because we can keep food for longer without it going bad. And did you know that before we had refrigerators, rich people would build big houses in their gardens called ice houses. And they would just pay people to keep that room really, really cold so they could put their meat and their vegetables in there.
I did not know that.
Ah, well, you are very fancy if you have an ice house in your garden.
Okay. Oh, there's another one in the UK. We call it vacuum cleaners, but in the UK, you guys call it?
A Hoover.
Right.
Well, you can say vacuum cleaner as well, but we also say Hoover, So that is 吸滤器.
吸尘器.
吸尘器, okay. Okay, I see. So, yes, so that's another one that really changed the way we do housework. So, Scotch tape is not as fancy or as electric as any of these inventions, but it did really help people during a difficult time, and that's what we're going to be learning about today. So, let's start with our Day 2 article.
Reading.
Where does Scotch tape come from? The name Scotch caught on and was soon used as the official name for the product. Drew continued to improve his tape. He came up with an idea to make it both waterproof and transparent. He released that new type in 1930. Drew's new product would soon become very important during a tough time. When it was released, the United States was entering the Great Depression. Many people were very poor, and nobody knew when the hard times would end. People had no money to hire others to fix things. Instead, they used Drew's Scotch tape. People used it to mend clothes, curtains, and many other things. Drew's product became nationally famous, and soon everybody knew about Scotch tape. People who lived during the Great Depression had a saying, "Mend and make do." Why would you replace something broken when you can repair it with just a roll of Scotch tape?
All right, so let's learn more about the history of the Scotch tape. Okay, it says the name Scotch caught on and was soon used as the official name for the product. Okay, so remember, at first the tape wasn't working well, so the people were like, here, take it to Scotland, and they kept giving it the name Scotch tape, and this kind of caught on. Now, when something catches on, it means it becomes quite fashionable, it becomes quite popular or trendy. So, for example, like a lot of TikTok videos. Okay, I'm pretty sure you guys know what TikTok is. Maybe this song or this dance is really popular, so it starts to catch on and people start to do the same thing again.
Exactly, they start copying these popular videos. And so the name Scotch became so popular that it was made the official name of the product. So official is an adjective, and something that is official is used in a public, formal, and often legal way. So the official name of a company is the legal one that they have on all their papers. People might know it by a nickname, 昵称, or an abbreviation, 首字母缩写. So you probably know the computer company HP or the clothing company H&M. Those are nicknames though, they aren't the official names. The official name of HP is the Hewlett-Packard Company, and the official name of H&M is the Hennes and Mauritz the Hens and Moritz AB. It's not quite as catchy, right?
I know,
as H&M.
I like H&M better.
Let's meet up at Hens Moritz AB.
It's a really long one.
Yeah, kind of difficult. And it's Swedish, so I'm not even sure if that's how you pronounce it. So when something isn't official, like the name H&M, we can say that it is unofficial or informal. So informal just means not formal. However, we normally use casual instead of informal to talk about the behavior or appearance of someone or something. So Tom wore casual clothes, for example, not Tom wore unofficial clothes.
Yeah.
It kind of makes sense, but it sounds very weird. So our example sentence for official is, the official language of Nigeria is English. However, people there also speak over 500 other languages at home.
Wow.
Okay, so the main language, the one in in the courts and on TV might be English, but people speak many other languages in this African country. Okay, so let's carry on with the article. Drew continued to improve his tape. Let's find out how.
Improve here is a verb and it means to make something better. Now, usually it's better than the previous thing. So, for example, if you got a bad grade on your test or project, you probably want to get a better grade, right? So, for the next test, you might try to improve your grade by studying harder or maybe trying to pay more attention in class and asking your teacher more questions. If you want to improve, it means you try to do better than what you did before. For example, we can say, Brian practices basketball for 2 hours every day after school to improve his skills. All right, so how did Drew continue to improve the tape? Well, it said he came up with an idea to make it both waterproof and transparent.
Those are two very useful functions. Waterproof, 防水. When someone is, or it's not someone is waterproof, when something is waterproof, actually people are waterproof, but that's a different story. When something is waterproof, it doesn't let water pass through it. So your raincoats, for example, your 雨衣, are waterproof. They stop you from getting wet. Normally, we use waterproof to talk about the materials that clothes are made from. However, phones, watches, and other personal objects can be waterproof too. Those are the objects you can drop in the bath and they won't break. But don't drop your phone in the bath just yet.
Yeah, make sure that they're
Check
waterproof.
it's waterproof first, and then you can drop it in the bath.
Because most of the time, electronic products and water do not mix well.
Yes,
so
yeah,
definitely just check before you do that.
Yeah.
All right, so he wanted the tape to be waterproof and also transparent. So transparent basically is 透明. You're able to see through it. So for example, glass. Glass is transparent. You can see through glass. All right, now, so he of course wanted to make the tape better because people are saying, it doesn't work, it's not good. So he finally made things a little bit better, and then it says here he released that new type in 1930.
Okay, so this would actually be very important, the fact that he released it in 1930. The article goes on, Drew's new product would soon become very important during a tough time. Right, 1930 was the beginning of a very tough time. Now, tough is an adjective, and when an experience is tough, it's difficult and often unpleasant. You might hear people talk about tough times. These are periods of history or just certain days or years when things are difficult. There might be problems like war or fighting. Maybe if your parents divorce, you could go through a tough time because it's very confusing and difficult for you. Or you might not have much money, you might be very poor and you're going through a tough time. So the United States was going through a very tough time when Scotch tape became popular. The article tells us more about the problems people were facing.
All right, so what was happening in the 1930s? It says, when it was released, the United States was entering the Great Depression. Okay, now this name sounds already very sad already. Now, the Great Depression was a time when people were very, very, sad and poor because before that, there was like the stock market, and the stock market crashed, meaning that people lost a lot of money in the stock market. So in the 1920s, everything was, the economy was really good. Everything, people were making money from stocks. People were making, they were becoming richer. And all of a sudden, the stock market crashed and people lost their money. They became poor and the economy became very, very, very bad. So they went through something called the Great Depression.
Yes, basically what happened, to make it very, very simple, is the government lost a lot of money, and it didn't just lose its money, it lost a lot of other people's money that they thought they could get back from the government. So then the government was like, we don't have any money, you don't have any money. Sorry. And there was this period where nobody had any money. You might remember in 2008, or maybe you're too young for that, but I'm sure that your older brothers and sisters or your parents will be able to tell you that something similar happened recently. That happens sometimes. Anyway, the article says many people were very poor and nobody knew when the hard times would end. Okay, so actually when the hard times would end is our grammar pattern today. We're going to show you how to make an indirect question. That sounds quite complicated, right? Don't worry, when you get used to them, you'll find indirect questions are fairly easy and extremely useful in English. So basically what an indirect question is, or when we use an indirect question, is when we don't have all the information we need to make a sentence. So let's first look at a question, a normal question. What is his name? Okay, we would ask this question when we don't know what someone is called. Now, if I want to say that I don't know someone's name, but I don't have all the words to say that, then I can make an indirect question. This is a sentence, okay? So how we form it is we take the subject and the verb, and then we use a noun clause to create the rest of the sentence. So what is his name becomes I don't know what his name is. Okay, so here what his name is the object for our verb know. Let's take a look at some more example sentences so you guys get a better idea. When will Dad be home from the office? Okay, there's a direct question. If we want to make that into an indirect question, we say, I don't know when Dad will be home from the office. Okay, so notice that when we're making a direct question, we invert the verbs, okay? So we say, when are you coming home? When are. When we're doing an indirect question, we don't do this. We actually put it the same way that we would write the verb in most other sentences in English. So look at these two sentences, for example. Where is the train station? Can you tell me where the train station is? Okay, so there again, look, where and is change places in those two sentences. Okay, you guys practice now. Pause the video here and see if you can turn the following question into an indirect question. Now, just as a clue, I want you to start it with the sentence with I don't know, okay? So here is your direct question. When will you go to the store? So, Tiffany, what is the correct answer to our exercise we just did now?
I don't know when I will go to the store.
Tiffany doesn't know.
All right, well, let's go take a look at our article now. So if you guys got the answer correct, good job. That was really, really good. Let's take a look at the story then. It says, people had no money to hire others to fix things. Okay, so we're going back to, remember, the Great Depression. People lost a lot of money.
No money.
When you save your money, you would think, I can use it for a rainy day, or maybe I can use it when I need it. So remember, these people lost everything. They couldn't get their money from the banks anymore. So they couldn't fix things. They couldn't hire people to fix things. When you hire someone, this verb means to give work or a job to someone, and as a boss or employer, you would give them money for it. So you would give them kind of like a salary or a wage to kind of do this work for you. Okay, so for example, we can say Sally is looking to hire a team for the new company she's starting.
Okay, so yes, and remember, looking to there means she's planning to or she's going to hire someone. Okay, so the article continues. Instead, they used Drew's Scotch tape. Okay, so actually, funnily enough, people used Drew's Scotch tape not just to wrap presents or to tape down their clothes. They used it for lots of different things. The article tells us some of them, doesn't it?
Yes, it says people used it to mend clothes, curtains, and many other things. So, for example, if you have something broken, you can't be like, hey, let me call someone to fix it. You would have to kind of mend things yourself.
Okay, so mend is our next vocab word. And now mend is a verb, and when we mend something, we repair it. Normally, we mend fabric and clothes. So if you rip your favorite shirt and then you sew it back together, you have mended your shirt. We can also use mend to mean repair or fix things in general. So you can mend a broken toy, or you can mend a bad relationship with someone. That means that you are not good friends with someone and then you fix your relationship by, talking to them more, hanging out. You mend your relationship. That definition for mend is a little bit more British though. It's more American to say mend clothes or mend fabric. Now, there's actually an idiom we use, especially in the UK, but also in the US, on the mend. Now, when we're talking about someone being on the mend, we mean they are recovering from an injury or an illness, okay? So Billy was very sick last week, but he's on the mend. He's getting better. Now let's look at an example sentence for mend. When Glenn found a tear in his pants, he mended them by sewing it up.
So they would mend things like clothes or curtains. Now, a curtain, okay, or curtains, the plural form, is a piece of cloth that hangs down from above a window to cover it. Now, usually people use curtains to block out the sun, or sometimes they use it for privacy as well. You don't want other people to look inside your house. Sometimes you also see a curtain when you watch a play, when you go watch a play. For example, when the scene is ready, the curtains will go up and you can watch the actors in the play. When the scene is finished, the curtains go down. Okay? For example, we can say it was a beautiful and sunny day, so Mom opened the curtains to let the sun in.
A beautiful day.
Yeah.
Okay. So the article continues, Drew's product became nationally famous. It became famous across the whole country. And soon, everybody knew about Scotch tape.
Good for him. It says, people who lived during the Great Depression had a saying, mend and make do.
Right, okay, you make do with a bad situation when you do the best you can with a situation that you don't really want. So if you don't have any money to fix your phone, but you break your phone screen, for example, you might say mend and make do and just carry on using your broken phone because you can't afford to fix it. So what are you going to do? So for example, here's another example sentence. Tim forgot his exercise book today. So in class, he had to make do with a piece of paper.
All right, so this actually kind of reminds me of, during World War II in England, they also had a saying to kind of, kind of get through the tough times. It was keep calm and carry on, was it?
Yes, keep calm and carry on.
Yeah, so it's kind of similar to that. All right, next, let's continue reading. It says, why would you replace something broken when you can repair it with just a roll of Scotch tape? That's really true.
Exactly. Replacing things is expensive. Now, when we replace something, that's a verb, we get rid of it and we start using something else in its place. So if you replace your broken phone, then you get rid of your broken phone and you buy a new phone. People can be replaced at work too, and that's not a good thing. It often means that they were fired. and someone else got to have their job. We can also say that we can tell that replace, means to change something for something new because it has the prefix, the beginning of the word is re. When words start with re, they normally mean that we are doing something again or getting something new. So a couple of other words that we could learn that have the re prefix include recycle, so 回收, repair, 修, or return, which I think is 还给某人. So like if you don't want a shirt that you've bought, you can return it to the store. So when her car tire, this is our example sentence for replace. When her car tire went flat, Layla replaced it with a new one.
So that's really nice then.
It
now we
is.
know where Scotch tape came from.
Oh, you almost forgot what the name of the tape.
Almost.
But we know where the Scotch tape came from. Struggling at the end.
I know.
Okay, let's move on towards our For You chat question before we completely fall apart.
For You chat.
Alright, so our For You chat question for today is, what do you think about the saying mend and make do? Do you think it's better to fix something instead of buying something new?
I think it is.
I think it is as well.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays where, there's climate change and, there's, global warming, all these things. We should stop, buying new things and we can try to fix it instead. I think that's
a
better.
Very good point. I didn't think about that. I was more thinking about, saving money and how you don't always need to buy something. But it's true, when we buy new things, we throw the old things away. And that creates waste. That creates an environmental problem. So I agree with you. I think we do need to mend and make do more often. I think during the Great Depression, they were onto something. Okay, well, you guys can discuss that phrase now and share your opinions on whether it's better to replace something or repair something, because sometimes you do need to replace something. When might that be? You guys talk about that, and we will join you again soon for more exciting articles. For English for You, I'm Seb.
I'm Tiffany.
And we'll see you again soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Where does Scotch tape come from? The name Scotch caught on and was soon used as the official name for the product. Drew continued to improve his tape. He came up with an idea to make it both waterproof and transparent. He released that new type in 1930. Drew's new product would soon become very important during a tough time. When it was released, the United States was entering the Great Depression. Many people were very poor, and nobody knew when the hard times would end. People had no money to hire others to fix things. Instead, they used Drew's Scotch tape. People used it to mend clothes, curtains, and many other things. Drew's product became nationally famous, and soon everybody knew about Scotch tape. People who lived during the Great Depression had a saying, mend and make do. Why would you replace something broken when you can repair it with just a roll of Scotch tape?
Vocabulary Review.
Official. The boss made an official rule that everyone must wear a suit from Monday to Thursday. Improve. William painted his house to improve the way it looked. Hire. Mr. Wong hired a man to clean his office every week. Mend. Emily's mother helped her mend the hole in her shirt. Curtain. Irene pulled the curtains over her window so her neighbors couldn't see inside. Replace. Miles is looking for a new computer to replace his old one because it doesn't work very well.
智慧小补帖
Waterproof, transparent, tough.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作。活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net